Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into what is arguably the ultimate mystery of our universe. I mean, look closely at the world around you. We've got these towering societal achievements, deep-rooted conflicts, and then those quiet, incredibly intimate moments of human connection. And behind absolutely all of it, there's this engine we carry around with us every single day, the human mind.
So, I want you to really consider this fundamental question for a second. Why do we behave the way we do? Seriously, think about your own emotions today. Think about your habits, those spontaneous actions you took, or how you connect with your friends and family. What's actually driving those decisions? Is it just your biology? Is it your upbringing? Or, maybe it's something hidden deep beneath the surface of your own awareness.
Okay, let's dive right into this. The answer to those questions lies at the very core of psychology. At its foundation, psychology is the scientific study of the mind and behavior. It delves incredibly deeply into our thought processes, our emotions, our motivations, and our actions. This isn't just an academic major. It gives us these invaluable insights into why individuals act the way they do and how we interact. But honestly, more than that, it's humanity's greatest scientific adventure. It's our systematic, evidence-based attempt to finally understand ourselves.
Section 1. Pioneers of Psychology. Mapping the uncharted territory. Now, to really appreciate where this science is today, we have to look back at how we got here. We're stepping into the realm of the pioneers, those brave early explorers who decided to actually map human nature. Because, we didn't always have a structured way to study the mind. It really started to formalize back in 1879. That's when Wilhelm Wundt, who's often called the father of psychology, established the very first experimental psychology lab in Leipzig, Germany. He literally brought introspection into a controlled setting. Then fast forward a bit to 1890, the brilliant American philosopher William James publishes his absolute cornerstone of a book, The Principles of Psychology. Just 2 years later, in 1892, the American Psychological Association is established, which really solidified this as a true profession. And then by the early 20th century, you have John B. Watson introducing behaviorism, shifting the focus almost entirely to observable behavior. Step by step, milestone by milestone, they systematically built a brand new science from the ground up. And, well, we absolutely cannot talk about the pioneers without pausing on this particular figure. The Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud introduced psychoanalysis. This was a truly revolutionary therapy, exploring the massive, profound influence of the unconscious mind. Now, Freud's legacy is huge, and yeah, it's highly debated, but you have to admire his sheer audacity. Daring to map out those invisible, unconscious forces that drive our behavior forever completely changed how we view our inner lives. Section 2. Lenses of Human Behavior, Decoding Our Complexity. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how modern psychology actually approaches human life. Building on those early pioneers, we use multifaceted frameworks to view the beautiful complexity of human behavior. These 5 major psychological perspectives you see here, they are not competing against each other. It's not some race to prove the other theories wrong. Instead, think of them as unique lenses through which we decode human thoughts, feelings, and actions. Depending on which lens you put on, you see a completely different, completely fascinating layer of the truth. So let's break down how researchers practically use these lenses. Let's say a psychologist is using the biological perspective. They're going to focus heavily on genetics, brain structure, neurotransmitters. Maybe they're investigating the genetic basis of a specific disorder. But switch over to the cognitive lens, and the emphasis completely shifts to mental processes, looking at things like cognitive biases and how we make decisions. Then you have the behavioral perspective, which zooms in on environmental factors, running experiments to see exactly how rewards and punishments shape what we do. And finally, the sociocultural lens broadens the view entirely. It looks at how society's cultural norms, beliefs, and values literally impact the mind. It's an incredibly comprehensive way to study the whole human condition. Section 3. The Science of Thought. Seeking Truth Through Rigor. Let's move to the next part and see how this builds, because you might be wondering how psychologists actually use these lenses in practice. Remember, psychology is not about guesswork, and it is definitely not mind reading. We have to ground all this emotional wonder in hard empirical science, and this builds beautifully through 3 core goals. Step 1. Understand human behavior and mental processes. We always start with the why and the how. Step 2. Explore these psychological phenomena via controlled experiments, surveys, and observation. We have to get the hard data. And Step 3. Apply that knowledge to actually improve well-being. It is a direct, logical progression from initial human curiosity all the way to actionable healing. And this brilliantly illustrates a really common misconception we need to clear up right away. It's so vital to distinguish the structural boundaries here. Psychology and psychiatry are both incredibly important, but they operate very differently. Psychology is a non-medical scientific discipline. It emphasizes understanding and treating behavioral and mental health issues through therapy, counseling, and behavior modification techniques. Psychiatry, on the other hand, is a medical specialty. Psychiatrists diagnose and treat mental disorders, often using a combination of both therapy and medication. Now, because psychology relies so heavily on research and observation, professionals in this field basically have to act like critical detectives. They constantly engage in critical evaluation. This means rigorously assessing the validity and reliability of their research methods. They have to evaluate sample sizes and control groups to make sure the findings are solid. They actively look for researcher, participant, or even cultural biases that could skew the data. And, crucially, they have to openly acknowledge their own study's limitations. This constant, rigorous evaluation is what ensures that the things we discover about human nature are actually accurate and reliable.
Section 4. Improving the human experience. Healing the world.
So what does this all mean? The ultimate purpose of all this rigorous study, all this critical evaluation and data collection, it culminates in one massive goal: improving the human experience. By understanding exactly what contributes to mental health and happiness, psychologists are able to develop strategic interventions that help individuals and communities truly thrive. This is where the science hits the pavement. Whether it's clinical psychology helping someone overcome severe challenges, counseling psychology guiding a family through a tough transition, or organizational psychology fixing a toxic workplace, applying this science actively improves our real-world quality of life. And because the critical thinking, communication, and problem-solving skills you learn in this field are so universally transferable, the career paths are incredibly diverse. I mean, yes, mental health care and counseling are prominent and absolutely vital, but psychology graduates also excel in education and academic research, marketing and business, law enforcement, human resources, and case management. Honestly, understanding how humans operate is the ultimate master key for almost any industry you can possibly think of. To capture the true essence of everything we've looked at today, I love this quote from the academic team at SUNY Fredonia. They say, "Ultimately, choosing to study psychology opens doors to a fulfilling and meaningful profession where one can contribute to the betterment of individuals and society as a whole." That is just so well said. It's such a profound legacy to be a part of, literally carrying the torch from those early pioneers into the modern era to truly make a difference in people's lives. Which leaves us with one final, deeply personal consideration to end this explainer. Armed with this incredible understandings of human behavior, of our underlying motivations, and the tools to actually heal, how will you use the science of the mind to impact the world?